This is November 18, 2024, general membership meeting of the Seattle Special Education PTSA. This is Yana Parker. This meeting was not recorded to this point. We will go over the standing rules, proposed changes, and that this part of the meeting will be recorded. It looks like we lost some people due to the wind or internet issues. And we're gonna see if we can get enough people in to even have the vote. But so what I'm gonna do, Kate, I think if you can stop sharing, I will go ahead and share the document of the of our standing rules. Excuse me. And 1 second. Maybe. Okay. All righty. It's a lot of clicking. Okay. Can people see my screen? Okay. I don't know if you can.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So these are our standing rules that were last updated in April 2024. And we have some required changes to the standing rules that are coming as a directive from Washington State PTA, who we are part of. And some of them are optional. A couple of them are optional. And then we have our own amendments that we would like to propose to the membership. The first one on the list that in the order that our standing rules are is this one. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. This is the proposed or required amendment by that came from Washington State PTA, and I'm going to read the addition or the amendment. An individual's membership in Seattle Special Education PTSA may be terminated by 2/3 vote of its board of directors to conduct that may damage the value and goodwill associated with PTA, or that violates the purposes, policies, or standing rules of this PTA, including the bylaws of Washington State PTA and National PTA. Details on the process for termination of membership are included in the current Washington State policy. Seattle Special Education PTSA shall notify Washington State PTA Board of Directors within 5 business days if a membership has been terminated. This is directly taken from Washington State PTA documentation. So that is one. Anybody has any question about this one before we move to the next one? Seeing none. The next one, we're going to add number 2, and then basically change the numbers of the following points. So the new piece here would be officers of this PTSA shall be elected for a 1-year term. An officer may not serve more than 2 consecutive fiscal years in the same office. An officer having served 8 or more months in the same fiscal year shall be considered to have served a full year. Any questions about this one? I know it's kind of on the, let me see if I can put it all on the screen. Okay, seeing no questions, I'm moving on. The next amendment is about online banking. Is Catherine here? Yes. All right. So we as a board discussed whether credit and debit cards would be, or the online banking would be beneficial, and discussed the risk. And as at the recommendation of our treasurer, we are not currently going to go with debit cards or credit cards, but we would like to utilize the online banking. So here goes the proposed change. Seattle Special Education PTSA permits the use of online banking to disperse funds. Seattle Special Education PTSA may access online banking to review and download monthly bank statements and conduct financial transactions. The same PTSA may accept payments as income using online sites or in-person devices, PayPal, Square, etc. Online banking may be used to make electronic payments to cover approved PTA expenses. That should say PTSA expenses. For example, nonprofit corporation renewals, etc. We also have Zoom. That is a great way to not have to send a check out, right? And then the last one is the Seattle Special Education PTSA Board of Directors must create and approve written procedures and internal controls for conducting online banking to minimize the risk of misappropriation of funds. So basically what that means is that before we start utilizing this, we will have probably Catherine lead the work of coming up with some rules. I know that there are rules specifically from for digital transactions at the Washington State PTA. And I'm going to try to, I don't know if this is going to load, but basically, oh, I'm not that. Basically, we are defaulting to those until we develop one our own. Anybody has a question? Catherine, do you have any comments?
I think that looks really good.
All right. Okay, so moving on. We're going to add, or we're proposing to add another article, number 6, and then again, the subsequent article will become number 7. Membership meetings may be held in person, virtually, or via a hybrid or both. Hybrid meeting, I think that was, or both. Virtual or hybrid meetings must use remote communication tools where all participants in person or virtually have equal opportunity for simultaneous participation, voice, and vote. Right? So, all right, so does anybody have any question about this new point number 6 under, which is that under voting? No, okay, so I'm going to move on. The next proposal is then the Article 8, which is titled Letters, but is not just about letters. We are proposing to change it to advocacy because the article is not just about signing letters. That is all and very simple. Any questions about that? No, seeing none. Then we are flying. Okay, so we would like to strike this communications point under, what is it, rules and policies. We would like to strike the communications that are sent out to the public must be reviewed by at least 2 board members prior to approval. We would like to basically, Kate, do you want to take it or should I talk about it?
Yeah, I'd be happy to talk about this. This is Kate. I'm the communications chair, and the purpose of these changes are to bring our communications policy up to date. We are no longer just writing letters, although that was never all that we did. What I'm getting at here is we want to be able to have the communications team work on communications and have the authority to send communications out through our various channels without the full committee review. And so there's, I can read these. The communications committee chair or co-chairs or their designees may post on SSEPTSA's social media and in the newsletter as long as the communication is in alignment with the committee's strategies and goals and with SSEPTSA's vision, mission, and general ethical standards. Secondly, any SSEPTSA member may propose and submit information to be communicated out to the board for review and approval by at least 2 board members, or the communications committee chair co-chairs who may approve the submission without approval from additional board member. Are there any questions about that? Great.
Okay, great. Thanks, Kate. I just want to add a little bit that we initially had, we had to submit one proposal and then 2 other board members would have to review it and okay it. And with having a communications chair that is very invested and posting very relevant information, it's and sometimes it needs to happen pretty, quickly. It's a lot to ask and chase down the other board directors to make sure that we can communicate what we need. We need to trust that the communications chair was appointed and approved by the board for very good reasons and that they know what they're doing. Okay. Oh, it looks like Sherilyn's power pole fell over. I mean, not her power pole, but the power pole in front of her house. I don't know if we're gonna see her. I'm gonna move. Anybody has any questions about this? Again, no? All right, I'm gonna move on. And I think that's the last one. This is amendment according to the Washington State PTA. The Seattle Special Education PTSA may collaborate with non-PTA organizations. The PTSA will handle only PTA funds, PTSA funds, and will have in place a signed contract with the other organizations to clearly establish whether it is a PTSA activity or the other organization's activity. This PTSA will not be a fiscal agent, fiscal sponsor, or sign a sponsorship or charter agreement with any outside organization or agency. This basically means that we have to keep our finances separate because we are under the Washington State PTA, and that we can collaborate with partners, but when it comes to money, our money is our money, their money is their money, and we need to be clear about what are we responsible for. Any questions?
With this amendment, is it only related to money? Like whenever there's money involved?
Yeah, charter, like we can't join another organization to be part of another organization because we are already part of Washington State PTA.
Okay. So as far as the collaboration, if we can collaborate with other organizations, but when money becomes intertwined, that's where we have to.
Yeah, we
Okay.
basically can't join another organization in like being part of their organization or them being part of our organization because, and then when it comes to money, especially, we have to do that. So for example, if we had, I see you sharing, Kathleen. So for example, if we had like in the past, we've had we have co-hosted events, and then we were very clear that we are going to be paying only for this interpreter. You are going to be paying for that interpreter, and then we have to know ahead of time what's going to happen. Catherine, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a point that a fiscal agency relationship is one where we're essentially loaning out our tax ID number and our 501c3. So in that, we are saying that we are an agent for another entity that is not recognized as a nonprofit currently.
Mhm. Right, that was not a question, that was an announcement, right? Thank you,
Yes,
Catherine.
that was an announcement. Sorry.
Thank you. Sometimes I need like, was that a question? Alrighty, so then otherwise the last, because we are inserting this information, the last point changes to point number 7. And that is all there is about the amendment proposed. Okay, I just muted myself. Really good. So this is all, that's all about the proposed amendments of the standing rules. I am seeing that we don't have enough, we don't have a quorum, so we're gonna have to postpone this vote for another day, but I am really glad we recorded it. Maybe we can share that out before the next meeting and this will go really fast. So, alrighty, I am going to turn off the recording right now. Oh, nope, we're not gonna stop the recording because we now have, I believe we have Mel Spiker, our Legislative Advocacy Committee co-chair here, and she's gonna kind of talk to us about legislative advocacy piece. Right? Unless we just lost her. So we're both in West Seattle, and I don't know how it is in your place where you are, but we have what my mom used to call the devils are having a wedding party out there. So it is pretty, good luck translating that, but that is really hard. So I think what might happen is we're gonna do I'm just gonna say, since Mel isn't here, that the upcoming legislative session, Washington State legislative session is of 2025. It starts in January. I believe that's January 13th. Today, we were going to review our legislative priorities for amendments for 2025. Hopefully when Mel comes back. And then the next committee meeting, the Legislative Advocacy Committee meeting, is on December 4th at 12 p.m. at noon. And the last piece, I know what's in the works, is Advocacy 101 workshop in preparation for our for the legislative session. I know we have asked Ramona Hettendorf of the Arc of King County. I don't know where that's at because that's the legislative advocacy chair's work, but I know that's coming. And if it isn't coming, we're gonna figure out a different advocacy 101 workshop just to kind of help people prepare for the session and how to advocate, how to look up bills and what's the journey of a bill, how the legislature works, and then help with how to write an effective message to legislators and decision makers. Okay, so next, I think we're going to move on to the roundtables.